everyone, and welcome to a new episode of the Jazz Zodiac Podcast, the greatest wrestling podcast you've never heard of. This is the podcast that's not going to sell out like the Busted Open podcast did and be only WWE. We're branching out to other forms of wrestling and entertainment. Yeah, I'm taking a shot at the Busted Open podcast because they apparently sold out to WWE. I'm sure you heard the news that Thunder Rosa is no longer a part of that podcast and she's AEW.
No, I didn't know anything about any of this.
Yeah,
It's very interesting.
that's what's going on with that. So that's my jab at the Busted Open podcast. We here at the Jazz Zodiac Podcast talk about anything and everything wrestling, we are not tribalist to WWE. We like all wrestling. So full disclosure, had this been a WWE show, we would have done a picks video, but because myself and the Psycho are still new in AEW when we're still trying to get the storylines under our belts, we felt it wouldn't do the show justice to do picks because we'd be picking blindly. That'd be like picking NFL picks based on the color of their jerseys, which is not cool, by the way.
Well, I mean, if I had to pick who I wanted to win, I would have done it, but it's not that.
At the end of the day, though, I never would have. Some of the people that won, I never would have picked to win. So only because I don't have enough backstory under me to have that. Now, again, if this was a WWE show, I would have totally done the picks and we would have had that clout. But we're only or me personally, I'm 3 PLEs in. This is your second one. So I'm still getting in the habit of watching Dynamite and Collision. I sometimes forget to watch because, got other shit going on.
Still getting used to being reintroduced to people that I saw the first time I watched and some new faces that I'm not familiar with. So
fair enough.
That's okay. But it takes a little time to get up to speed. No big deal. A few months maybe.
Yeah.
I ain't worried too much about it.
But AEW Redemption just ended. Of course, this won't drop until a day or two after the show has been over. We did have 3 title changes in this show, which shocked me. And there was a couple of matches on here that I didn't even know were going to be on the card until they announced it. And I'm like, thanks a lot, AEW. Yeah. This is another reason why I didn't do a pick show, because they do shit last minute. And I'm like, the fuck are you doing? Fucking up my shit.
They didn't want to fuck with you specifically, man, because I called them and I told them, fuck with them every chance
we had some chaos after the main event between Kenny Omega and Kevin Knight.
For sure.
But we'll get to that here momentarily. First, we're going to talk about AEW Redemption at the Bell Center in Montreal, Quebec. It's in Canada. There's plenty of Canadians in this show. Our first match, which again I didn't know was on the card because I didn't watch the buy-in. I totally forgot about it, so I didn't get a chance to watch it. They had the people coming in for this match coming in as it was coming to an end. So this was a 6-way ladder match and a shot at an AEW International title shot. So number 1 contenders match. We have El Clone versus Nick Wayne versus The Beast Mortis versus Commander versus Speedball Mike Bailey, the hometown hero. And we all know you don't win in your hometown.
Well, WWE anyway.
Well, I don't know if that's a
well, not always, because as we saw with CM Punk a few weeks ago. But
that's true.
I digress.
And of course, Jack Perry, who just re-signed a new contract recently. Ladder match in AEW, it's a little different than WWE. They tend to not fucking care. So this was a fucking brutal fucking ladder match. I'm sorry. I've seen many, many, many ladder matches in my lifetime. And not just AEW, WWE, just in general. And they're always, what's the word? Brutal is the first word that comes to mind. They're fucking brutal. They're devastating.
Carnage Candy. How about that?
Carnage Candy careers are shortened in a ladder match. So, but again, this had which I thought was funny. It had a fucking clipboard with a contract for a title shot. I'm like, isn't that like a Money in the Bank contract? Except you just get it right away versus whatever the fuck you want, which it is what it is. They're not trying to copy.
It's the same idea. It's the same idea, but I don't think, I could be wrong about this, but I don't think the induction of the Money in the Bank match years ago, I don't think that's the first time there was ever a contract up for grabs during a ladder match, but don't quote me on that. I don't know every single ladder match that's ever happened.
I mean, there's been pink slip on a pole matches before. I don't know if that's the same thing.
I think there's also been a Viagra on a pole match, but we're not going to get into that one.
Who the fuck had that match?
WCW, I think, if memory serves correctly.
Well, that makes sense.
And a piñata on a pole match. We had that too.
Was this like the very end of WCW? Like they were just doing whatever they could to keep people in the seats?
Yeah, pretty much. This is right before he got bought out,
I
around
mean,
2000 ish.
to be fair though, they let David Arquette win their title. I think at that point they jumped the shark. That was pretty much the last grab. And like, this is the reason why this company's going in the damn toilet, brother.
But this ladder match, on the other hand, was
fucking phenomenal.
Bravissimo. Very good.
I
Very
don't
lovely.
Spanish.
Well, I don't know what to tell you.
That's actually Italian, but whatever.
Yeah, well, get your shit right. But no, this was a great match. A lot of fun. Yeah. I love how it just kind of went all over the place as ladder matches tend to. A lot of carnage on the outside at some point. He got a double DDT on the mat, which is nice. Nice little fight on top of the ramp. There was some aerial attacks going off the ladder. Can't go wrong with that.
No.
And I gotta say, not really knowing half the people in this match, the two that stood out for me were, what was the big guy name? The Beast guy, whatever the
Beast,
fuck.
Mortis,
thank you. Him and Commander were the standouts for me in this match. And Commander, with all that tightrope walking,
oh my god, that was impressive.
You know, I always thought what Undertaker did was impressive, which it is. It is. Not anybody can walk on the ropes, but the way he did it, fucking A, man, that takes a lot of agility to pull that crap off.
If I'm not mistaken, I think the Beast Mortis ran with Jungle Boy Jack Perry back in the day. I could be wrong because he wears a very similar mask. Again, I'm new to AEW, so if I'm wrong, please call me out. I don't know.
I don't think he's the one you're thinking of, the tall guy with the green mask. That's a totally different.
Is it? Okay. Yeah. I thought they were the same person.
This guy's not tall enough because he is fairly tall.
Okay, that's fair. Okay. Well, they all look the same height sometimes, you know. It's hard to tell.
I disagree. Wow. I think he's like 7 feet tall, and this other guy was about maybe 5'11", 6 foot, something like that, maybe.
I just got a text from Big Cass, and he said, you can't teach that.
Well, I expect he's going to put me in my place every once.
Oh, no, I'm sorry. I didn't do it right. And you can't teach that. Anyway, continue.
Yeah, those two guys did a lot of impressive stuff throughout the match. At one point, Mortos it looked like a corkscrew launched through the ropes to hit the guys on the outside. And I don't think I've ever seen that.
That was, he landed on his feet. He didn't dive into him. He hit them and then landed on his feet. I'm like, dude, is this dude part cat? What the fuck? That was impressive.
Man, it really was. And the last really bad bump I thought was when Perry at one point did a destroyer to somebody onto the ladder and actually broke through the damn thing.
Yeah.
Damn, that was ugly.
Yeah.
Whew. Very ugly. And you know what? I didn't even write it down in my notes because I didn't get to see the first 5 minutes because it took me a while to get on the show.
Yeah, of course.
I forget who was the one that won? That one dude.
Speedball, Mike Bailey.
Thank you, Speedball. Okay. Yeah, he's the one who actually got the contract. He gets a match. Did they say that's happening at Wembley Stadium? Or
I think that's what they said. And what's funny about when he won it, normally you unlatch it. He just went bink. He just ripped it right off. It reminded me, and I know this is probably illegal to do this, but it reminded me of when Cena won the fucking Money in the Bank. He was hitting Big Show and it broke, and he's like, I will never forget.
You know what?
That.
I was not the biggest fan of Cena, but you know what? That was a great moment in wrestling history.
One of my favorite memes is they took that photo, and instead of it being the red Money in the Bank contract, it was a big box of Fruity Pebbles. It was right around that same time.
That's pretty funny.
Oh my God. Yeah, this was definitely a great match. And again, you don't always win in your hometown unless you're Speedball Mike Bailey. And, hometown guy, I think it's a good pick. And it's for the AEW International title, which is currently, actually, we'll get to that, but at this match, it was held by Kyle Fletcher, but he has a match later on with Bandito, who is the ROH World Heavyweight Champion, or the World Champion. So great match to start. No complaints.
Straight up. Nice way to keep the action. Agreed. Not only start off with great action, but keep it going throughout the entire freaking match. So
very, very couldn't agree more. Moving on to the next match, we have the Young Bucks versus Will Ospreay and Jon Moxley. The Death Riders, I think is what the name of that faction is.
Yeah, Death Riders.
This, hindsight being 2020, I think this match was more there to tell a story versus anything else, because this comes back to play later on in the show. So, and you can tell Ospreay, and I know nothing about Will Ospreay. I know nothing only from what Darius told me on the Wrestling Rewind. He's just not the biggest fan, and that's fine. You don't have to like everybody. Yeah. There's no law that says you have to like all the baby faces and you have to hate all the heels. There are heels I like more than the baby faces. And they're, heels that I just, you get what I'm saying.
It happens.
So, your takes and before I say this, before I give you the floor, I do want to say the super kick is over. I am so over the super kick. It used to be a finishing move. Now it's just over fucking done. It really is. And I'm so sick of seeing it. This match, in case in point, this match at the end was like boom, 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 boom. And I'm like, okay, cool. We get it. You can kick really high. We get it. Good for you. Anyway, your takes.
Well, my take on what you just said right there, with the Young Bucks, yes, they do a lot of super kicks, but you know what? I've already seen a handful of their matches since I got back into it just recently. And this is the first match I've seen between the two of them where they've done it this excessively. So
Yeah.
right off the bat, I can forgive them if they don't do it every single match that bad versus the Usos that are basically doing nothing but that almost every single match they have in the company. Based when I was
Especially
watching
Jay, who
anyway.
super kick, spear, frog splash, match is over.
Pretty
It's like
much.
Hulk Hogan all over again, except he flied. That's the only difference.
Exactly. A little bit more athleticism, I think, going on their part. But I digress. As far as this match is concerned, yeah, the situation going on with Ospreay is very interesting because he won the Bret Hart finals at the last pay-per-view, which is cool. Congrats on
In
him.
a very
It's a
bloody match, by the way. Oh my
no kidding.
God.
So right now, it seems like he's got a little bit of an issue going on without talking about what happened at the end of the show between his devotion to the Death Riders and the fact that he just doesn't want to hurt anybody. I agree with the storyline angle you were talking about before. There's definitely plenty going on. And then with this match goes very heavy into that because early on, we get a very ugly head collision between two of the competitors, leaving Matt to go it alone for a long period of time. It looked like his partner was, I think he looked like he could have been concussed. I don't know if this really was the case or if this was just all part of the story. And if they were playing it off, they did a damn good job of it because that made me buy it. Like I questioned the whole match, like, is he really hurt or is this just an angle? What are we doing here?
Yep.
But they played it off pretty well as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, and just and again, Moxley was this when granted in WWE we kind of got a watered down version of what Moxley is. We got a Dean Ambrose, which was diluted. AEW was a place where he could be who he is, and he's just a badass, and he doesn't give a fuck. You know, I don't give it. I want to win by any means necessary, and if that means I got to destroy the person I'm fighting, then so be it. But Will Ospreay is kind of reminds me of episode 3 when Mace Windu is fighting the Emperor, and Anakin's like, oh, fuck, what do I do? And all he sees is what's happening. Mace Windu has a lightsaber to the Emperor, and the Emperor's like, I don't have a weapon. Help me. Help me. So it kind of mirrors that. Does Will Ospreay make the full turn? Because he's not really a heel and he's not really a face. He's kind of right in the middle. He's kind of riding that train, so to speak. So is something going to push him to be a heel or is something going to push him to be a face? We don't know. And Moxley obviously is in a heel faction by far.
Yeah, no doubt about it.
Which is fine. There's nothing wrong with that. You can, and even when Moxley handed Will Ospreay the Death Riders patch, he was very reluctant to take it. And of course, he put it on his gear, which is fine. That's what you're supposed to do. But it still was kind of like, okay, thank you. I think I'll put this back in my back pocket. Very, uncertain of the future that he has with that particular faction. More so at the end of the show, which we'll talk about later. But at the end of the... Go ahead.
Nah, even with this match, the whole entire time, with the situation on one of the Young Bucks being on the outside and him actually catering to the fact that he was hurt, Moxley was getting fed up with it. Like, dude, you need to stop caring so damn much. You need to take care of business. You need to concentrate on what you need to be doing in order for us to win this match. So there was a good story dynamic going on throughout the entire match.
Oh, yeah.
As far as I'm concerned.
Big time. I agree.
And I absolutely love Moxley in this company on a side note because he never really got to fully shine in WWE as far as I'm concerned. And I absolutely am so happy and proud of what he has accomplished in this company.
Well, to be fair, though, he was living in the shadow of having Roman Reigns forced down our throat and then the future that would have been Seth Rollins. So he was kind of playing third fiddle. So you really can't blame him for that. Although I do love what happened when we saw Elimination Chamber here in Corpus when we thought that Seth Rollins beat Roman Reigns. It was Roman Reigns, wasn't it? I want to say it was Roman.
That's not the match.
Oh, no. It was Roman versus Seth. And Roman ended up, I forget the scenario, but freaking Dean Ambrose comes out and goes, yeah, the champ buys the beers. And then they fucking went off and did their thing. Again, Dean Ambrose took, third fiddle in a fashion that should not have been that way. But in AEW, he's able to be what he wants to be and how he wants to be. And he hasn't looked back. And he's such a great character to watch. And he's gone from having the sloppy hair to having no hair and a full beard. Again, and we've talked about this, that Stone Cold shaved his head, became a badass. Fucking Kurt Angle shaved his head, became a badass. I mean, there are plenty of people that have shaved their heads and just become completely just destroyed everybody. So we've kind of gone off on a tangent, but the Young Bucks end up being victorious. I think who's the female in the group? I forget her. I never ever got her name.
I forget her name, but I always forget her name. I haven't learned it yet, but I know she actually took a tumble at some point towards the end of the match.
Super kick for her, for her troubles.
Yeah, well, if you get involved in a match, you get what you get. As far as I'm concerned,
I mean,
it's like that line from Ready to Rumble
too. So yeah,
very much.
But again, Young Bucks are victorious. So. And I know prior they've been having some issues with Cope and Cage. I think they were trying to get a title shot against them or whoever won tonight's match in their tag match. But moving on, we have our first title match. And again, there were 3 title changes. So we first have the AEW International Championship. We have Bandito versus the champion, Kyle Fletcher. Holy fuck. Are you fucking kidding me? And again, Bandito is the ROH World Champion, so that title was not on the line, just the AEW title. Whoa.
I'm going to go match of the night for me, I think. This match was great.
I have as a contender. Definitely.
Bandito impressed the ever-living shit out of me. So did Kyle, with him winning the title a few weeks ago at that, whatever the beach thing was.
The beach show, yeah.
Yeah, that was pretty freaking cool to see him win, and this was a great defense on his part. Both guys really brought it the entire match, and they even started out nice, hot, and heavy. You got to love that. Pay attention to WWE for the 100th time. You guys aren't listening to me. I know what I'm talking about, God damn it. Sometimes I do.
Watching long enough. You think we'd be on the
really
team.
But my God, Bandito impressed the hell out of me throughout this whole match.
Oh yeah.
I gotta say though, his mask, for all you Evil Dead fans out there, it reminds me of the way Ash looks after he gets sucked in Army of Darkness into one of the books and comes out and his face is all distorted after he shakes it a couple of times. That's what that mask kind of looks like to me. I'm just saying. I am a horror fan after all.
But then again, if you go back and look at the match that Bandito had with Jon Moxley, holy fuck, that was a brutal match too. So this dude can take a beating.
It sure was, yeah.
And there was just so many near falls. At one point I wanted to start counting them because there was just so fucking many of them. But, at the end of the day, Kyle Fletcher was just too fucking much. And again, the stipulation in the match was nobody could be ringside. Nobody. It had to be just the 2 people that were in the match. Bandito looked like he had the title in his hands, and it slipped just one little mistake, and it slipped out of his hands.
There was too many great spots to discuss all of them, but some of my favorites. At one point, Kyle kicking Bandito in the face after he leaps towards him. That was a lot of fun. At one point, Bandito is actually holding up Kyle with both arms, and then he holds him up with one, and I'm like, dude, don't be breaking your arm now. Come on now, you don't do that.
I'd be more worried about dropping the dude.
Well, that too.
Yeah.
Nice brain buster by Kyle on the apron, which you know how much I hate it when they do shit on the apron. I hate it. Every time I see it, I hate it. But then again, hopefully they know what they're doing with that shit because I don't want to see anyone get hurt. I'm just saying.
True.
Beautiful frog splash by Bandito onto Kyle on the outside. Dude, what the hell? That was like one of the best frog splashes I think I've ever seen in or out of the fucking ring.
Yeah.
Seriously, it was picture perfect. So, and even the finish was freaking awesome. So yeah, this one is going to get my vote for the match of the evening. It's the one that really got me the most excited, made my jaw drop the most. And like I said, he impressed the living shit out of me this whole match.
Agree. I do see a very bright future in Kyle Fletcher's down the road. I do see him down the road becoming a world champion. He has that it factor that people look for in a professional wrestler. And
I understand why he's the ROH champion. I have no qualms, no doubts as to how he won that belt.
No, 0. But again, and both these guys have bright futures. But
I
at
agree.
the end of the day, Kyle Fletcher just came up just a little bit better, not by much. This was a match that could have gone either way. It really
Yeah,
could.
well, he went full beast mode there for those final seconds, hitting
Yeah, he
it with
did.
so many different moves before he finally got the 1, 2, 3. So yeah, nice way to just go crazy at the
That's
end
fair.
there.
Moving on, another match that was not on the fucking title card, AEW. And I mean, I don't know enough about it to justify it. This is probably the one match that I thought probably didn't need to be on the card. That's
I don't
just
know,
me.
I mean, I didn't really know too much about the story going in, but man, this was a brutal fucking match.
It was, but
Seriously.
again, I'm trying to recalibrate the whole WWE aspect of everything. 'Cause I'm still seeing it through blinders. The blinders have not been removed. So I'm like, does this match really have to happen? Apparently there's beef between these two, so it was just a matter of time. But we have a tag team double chain match between the Bang Bang Gang. It's interesting why they have that name, because they couldn't do the Bullet Club. So they came up with the name Bang Bang Gang, and when you know it, New Japan no longer has the Bullet Club. And I'm like,
Well, that sucks for
wow.
them.
You know what's funny? You know what this is a match between the Bang Bang Gang and the Dogs, and it's again a tag team double chain match. You know who their manager should be for the Bang Bang Gang? Bang Bang, fucking Cactus
I was
Jack.
gonna say, and you know
Cactus
what?
fucking
Mick Foley's there, so
He's already fucking there.
yeah, he's
Barking
already
like
there.
a
Being a match
dog
made
to
in
the
heaven.
girls. Fuck.
Well, yeah, what was that all about?
I don't know. I'm not even going to justify talking about it. But
Yeah.
again, this was a brutal fucking match. Another one that
Yeah, both teams are using the chains to their advantage right away. There's no hesitation whatsoever. Some interesting uses of the chains along the match, I
Yeah.
thought. And frankly, between both teams, at one point, Jay and Juice took control for a good while. They really whipped the shit out of their opponents. And then
those are real chains, by the way. Those were not
they
fake
sure
chains. Those are the real deal.
they look like it to me, and
They
sounded
sound
like
like
it too.
it too.
But they, even with Finley and Connors, they get to deliver their own pain on their opponents, which is always great. And there was a little bit of interference there towards the end, wasn't there?
A little bit.
Just a little bit.
But it's
And
a no DQ match, so it doesn't matter.
well, yeah, exactly. That's why I'm not bitching about it.
No.
If it's in the stipulation that anything goes, I can't say shit because you're not breaking the rules because there's no goddamn rules.
Damn right. Damn right.
But we also get a shillelagh to kind of help finish out the match for Finley. So brutal match, guys. Nice way to beat the hell out of each other with chains the whole entire time and never make me bored.
I do love
Yeah, you make me cringe every chance you get. Thank you for that. Appreciate
I do love how on commentary, I think it's Excalibur is his name. He was who let the dogs out and woof, woof. And then not long after, the crowd started doing it. And then Shivani's like, yeah, did you take credit for that too? That shit was hilarious. I'm like, wow, the banter on the commentary was fucking hilarious. I'm not saying that they're better than what we have in the other promotion. I'm just saying they're funnier. Although the banter between Cole and Graves is fucking beautiful every time I see it.
It has been good. I will say that. It has been good.
So yeah, again, the Dogs win the tag team double chain match. Again, there was some shenanigans, but these were cheeky shenanigans. They're good shenanigans, not the evil shenanigans that Farva likes to do. So
no, not so much.
Moving on.
Shenanigans.
Moving on, and it took me a while to realize that the TBS and the TNT championships are like the women and men's intercontinental championships. They're pretty much the same title, just have different names. They're Turner brand champions or championship titles, I should say.
Yeah, I was confused by that for a spell, but
because
it's all good.
Jade Cargill held the TBS championship for a fucking long fucking time.
Hell a long time, bro.
But anywho, we have Maya World, who again, it was her birthday today. Happy birthday to her. I'm pretty sure she's not watching, but we'll give her the love anyway.
That's okay. Happy birthday to you.
And she's from Texas. She
always got to support the Texans.
Gotta support the hometown crowd. Got to do it.
Yeah.
Again, Maya World versus Hikaru Shida. Another good match. Fuck.
Yeah, it was.
They're not all 5 stars. They're 4.5.
No.
Period.
Plus, I'm not gonna lie. After the carnage and the mayhem of the first 4 matches, I was kind of out of it for the first 5 minutes because I felt like my brain kind of needed to recharge. But we're not getting any gaps between these matches. You know, we're not getting a breather. So my mind was just kind of wandering a little bit. But otherwise, otherwise, still a fun match. And I do enjoy the story going on here that they emphasize that Sheeta, back when I used to watch, was all about being a good person. You know, she was a babyface type character, but
Yeah.
apparently she has sometime recently embraced the dark side. So,
Happens.
and her attitude and her outfit reflects as such.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
what the hell?
I do know. I'm thinking of a different person. Never mind. No, this is a match where, you know, of course, the baby face is selling the knee injury. You know, oh my god, I hurt my knee, and then she sold it fairly well. I mean, I was actually at one point going, is she really fucking hurt? I mean, I've been watching wrestling for 40 fucking years, but even I'm sitting there going, huh, I wonder if she's really hurt. You know, it's in your mind at that point.
I agree.
But
I will say this.
Yeah.
I love the arrogance of Sheeta, going back to what I was talking about with her heel streak that's going on. The arrogance of her stopping Maya from tapping at some point, and that shit came back to bite her in the ass badly. So
not just that, but there was a moment where she thought she won. Like she was like,
oh yeah,
I won. No, it was a 2. It was a fucking
she got the
2.
ropes, right?
Huh?
She got the ropes. She got the ropes.
She got the ropes.
Point,
she literally just grabbed a handful of the ropes, and she thought she'd won, and that was pretty much her demise. She's able to Maya's able to put her in. I didn't catch the name of her finisher. I'm still learning all these people. So
yeah, it was a devastating move, but I was surprised that she won because it didn't look like she ever got a hold of her leg to really get a hold on her. So I was expecting she did a kick out, but she didn't. I was like,
yeah,
wow.
When it went to 3, I went, no, are you fucking
I
kidding
couldn't
me
believe
right
it.
now?
But hey,
but we have a new TBS champion, and that is Maya World. The little group with Orange Cassidy came out. They put the belt in the bag. I thought that was funny because they're the trios champions, if I'm not mistaken. So they put her title in the bag, and they went to the back and had a good old time. And congratulations, you know, I thought this match was over. This was a consolation prize for her because if you remember last pay-per-view, she had the match, the Bret Hart tournament match with Mercedes Moné, which she lost. So this was a nice consolation prize. And again, this is what I've always said with up and coming talent, give them the mid-card title, see what they do. That's what they're doing. The TBS championship is a mid-card, female mid-card title. It's the Intercontinental, it's the US title in WWE. It's the same thing. Let her run with it, see what she does.
I agree. And
if she does great, well, cool. Well, then we'll talk about the world heavyweight or the world championship down the road. For now, run with this.
I agree. Let's see where she goes with it.
Agreed. All right, moving on. We have the AEW World Tag Team Champions between the Death Riders, Claudio and Goldie and Pac versus one of our favorite tag teams, Cope and Cage, or for you, the tribalists out there, Edge and Christian.
Yeah.
And there was no 5-second pose this time. I love that Edge can still use his theme. It's just Beth Phoenix saying, you think you know me, not whoever they had back in the early 2000s.
Who knows?
And I do love how commentary was giving Cope and Cage their flowers because you heard them say, you know what, these two men recreated and just redrew the map for the tag division, 20 plus years ago and all this other stuff. And I'm sitting there going, why is it AEW can give them flowers in another promotion, but WWE will shit all over any promotion that's not affiliated with them? That's kind of fucked up. And that might be just, they've always done that, but I feel like with TKO, it's worse. Like they're very competitive, which is fine. I'm all about being competitive, but you don't want to pull a Ted Turner. I'm just saying.
You don't have to shit all over your competition. You can just acknowledge each other if you want to. Maybe a little, a little poke every once in a while. No big deal, nothing too serious. But otherwise, stay in your lane and leave the other company alone. Seriously, just exist for the sake of existing. As far
and not just that, but Dynamite and Collision are on Wednesday and Saturday. Last I checked, there was no fucking WWE show on those nights unless there's a pay-per-view. Other than that, they're not competing. They're just doing their thing, and I respect that.
That's as it should be. That's what it should have always been. You know what I mean?
And you know who wins with that? The fans. The fans win because guess what? I can watch Raw on Monday. I can watch NXT on Tuesday. I can, if I want to, I can watch Dynamite on Wednesday. I can watch SmackDown on Friday, and I can watch Collision on Saturday. That's 5 days of wrestling during the week that you can watch if you want. Or if you're like this dipshit, I'm not watching Raw and SmackDown. I'm going to watch Simon Miller and get my ups and downs. and get a good feeling in my tum-tum.
You know what? I feel no qualms whatsoever giving a little bit of nod to Mr. Simon Miller, helping him out because he takes the time out of his week to talk about what's going on for all those people like me who just don't give a shit anymore. So thank you, Mr. Simon Miller. I think I've said it before, but thank you so much for doing that for me. You saved me hours of time that I can concentrate on my channel, something I give a shit about, as opposed to what's going on with Roman Reigns every week.
Well, you know, it's funny. I just got a text from Simon. He says he gives your he gives your little rant. He gives it a nut with the finger of power. So
I appreciate that.
And giving him his flowers gives me a nice feeling in my tum tum. Which, if you've never watched Simon Miller, you should. He's fucking fun. I love watching his review shows. Yeah, I watch Raw and SmackDown, but every now and again, I'm like, I want to see what he thinks. I'm just curious. It doesn't weigh on my opinion at all, but I do I'm kind of curious where we used to watch Wrestling with Regret a lot, and we didn't always agree with what he said, but I definitely want to know what the IWC thinks that's not toxic.
Yeah.
Whole another story on that one. But again, we're talking about the AEW Tag Team Championships. Cope and Cage versus Claudio Angoli and Pac, or for you WWE fans out there, Cesaro.
He will always be known as Cesaro.
Neville.
I can go with the whole Pac thing because when I was watching previously years ago, he was already known as Pac, and I'd already accepted him for what he looked like and his persona and whatnot.
Yeah.
But Cesaro, not so much. I still see Cesaro, especially with his move list and whatnot. But there's nothing wrong. That's not a negative thing. Thank you very much. But I will say this:
we are the bar.
We are the bar.
They dropped the ball with Cesaro. They really did. That dude should have been a world champion. Seriously. Should have been, but he wasn't.
And that goes into what I was about to say with this particular match. All four of these men are former WWE superstars, and two of them former world champions. So a lot of great lineage in this match.
But they all held gold in WWE.
No, they all held gold. I'm just saying two former world champions.
That's
all I'm saying. But they all held gold at some point or another, which rightfully so, as far as I'm concerned.
Of course.
Not a bad match between these two teams either.
No,
definitely a fun match. I do like how Pac and Cesaro. I'll learn his name eventually. Don't worry,
that's
people.
Fine.
They attack Adam before Cage even comes out and try to take full control of it once the bell finally rings.
Yeah,
because it took a little while for the bell to finally ring after they attacked him and whatnot.
Yeah.
So, like I say, gotta love the lineage in this match. I haven't seen the big swing in a long time, and quite frankly, I missed the hell out of it.
Yep.
You know what I mean? He's not doing it anywhere near as long as he used to, but I'm just happy I got to see it.
I mean, he's getting older,
Well, there is that. But I do love how he did that for a little while and did it ended with a drop kick from Pac afterwards. I'm like, that's a nice way to finish that little move. Very nice. But let's see. I forgot who won this match anyway.
Cope and Cage,
they
retained their titles.
That's right. There was a nice little setup by Cage at one point, flinging one of the opponents in the air and then a spear by, you know what? I'm just going to call him Edge. I keep wanting to call him Edge.
I won't hate you for it. Did you notice the tights he was wearing? They looked like the old rated R, like the old Edge tights he wore back in the early Attitude Era, but it said Cope on it. I saw that and I went, did he recycle his tights? Seriously? Because they might
still have some.
You never know. They still fit. Fuck it. They're tight.
If they fit and it still works, what the hell? Or you can at least upgrade them to make it more modern, but still a little nod to the original.
No, I don't wear tights. I wear the required uniform.
Tights.
Shut up.
Little Breakfast Club for you.
Yeah.
By the way, did you know that Dennis has never seen the Breakfast Club?
What?
That podcast that we did a few days ago, last week, as a matter of fact, he admitted he's never fucking seen it. Anyway, not get off that little sidetrack, but I just had to say that. I couldn't believe it.
Rightfully so. I mean, if he's going to call himself a movie buff, that's like top of the list. And I knocked Aliens off my list finally. So
he said that he just hadn't seen too many John Hughes movies growing up.
That's fair. That's fair. So, that's a fair assessment.
But I found out he's seen more than he thought he had. So
fair enough. Cope and Cage get the win. They're trying to celebrate the victory. And then the Young Bucks come out and Cope and Cage raise their belts. And then on the Titantron, or whatever the fuck AEW calls it, at All In Wembley in London at the end of August. It's August, I think.
August 30th.
Yeah. Cope and Cage versus the Young Bucks for the AEW World Tag Team Championships. That is like Shivani said, that's a dream match. That is a dream match.
To that, man.
It's either going to be really fucking awesome or it's going to suck a big fat dick.
Well, hopefully
there's no in between for that one.
Hopefully it's the former because, quite frankly, I am really looking forward to this. When you
Mm,
take into consideration that both Edge and Christian, they date back to the fucking Attitude Era
they
during the
do.
Brood days. That's 30 years ago almost. No
Yeah.
kidding. So long career for those guys. Seriously.
Moving on. Sorry, it's 11:45. I got to be at work at 7 tomorrow, so I'm trying to get this recorded before I go to bed, and then I'll edit tomorrow.
Yeah, it's getting
So if I
late.
yawn periodically, I do apologize. This for me was my pick for match of the night. Tommaso Ciampa versus Painmaker Chris Jericho. Now, before we talk about this match, we've talked a little about how X-Pac never evolved his character. He's the same character, just a different name. The kid, the 1, 2, 3 kid, Six, and then X-Pac.
Even recently we talked about it.
Nothing
Yeah.
is different except for maybe the lack of a beard. Chris Jericho has reinvented himself so many times that the last show, was it the last show or was it? I forget when it was. I think it might have been the last pay-per-view where we got the different versions of Jericho, including a couple that were in WWE, including
Oh,
the light up jacket that he used to wear.
you're thinking of the show that we watched from 2019, their first
Oh, that's what it
pay-per-view.
was.
That's what that was from.
That's
Because
what it
he
was.
wasn't at the last PLE. The first time
That's
I
right.
got to see
Okay.
him since the last show was at that beach.
That's
thing they
right.
did a
Okay.
few weeks ago.
I do remember seeing that. So, but my point here is that Jericho has reinvented himself so many times that you can't help but love the dude, you know, and he keeps himself relevant by just changing it. And they showed the list of Jericho on an AEW. This is the same show where Cody smashes a fucking throne with a fucking sledgehammer. I'm like, gee, I wonder who the fuck they're talking about, but we're off topic. This is a no-holds-barred match. Painmaker Chris Jericho versus Tommaso Ciampa, and it did not disappoint. Again, this is one of my picks for match of the night. Whoa. Not
understand
as
why.
much blood as we saw in the last pay-per-view, but there was blood. Blood.
Yeah, there was definitely blood.
Yeah.
I didn't know anything about this Painmaker character. I feel like maybe I saw him as the character at some point, but I don't remember ever watching him wrestle. So I actually looked it up and it was something he debuted as a dark alter ego to counter both Kenny Omega way back in the old days in New
Okay.
Japan. So
Fair enough.
So yeah, so it's been around for a while. It was interesting how he created it specifically for hardcore situations like this, almost
Yeah.
like what they did with Cactus Jack back in WWF back in '97 when Dude Love got his ass handed to him by Hunter Hearst Helmsley, and they were supposed to have a match at the Royal Rumble, but then he's like, no, you know what? You know what? I'm getting my years mixed up, and I'm leading into the Royal Rumble 2000 when he changed to the Cactus Jack persona to fight Triple H at Madison Square Garden.
Yeah.
It was very similar to that.
It's like the demon Finn Balor, I can't beat you, but I know somebody who can, and it's the demon that comes out. So yeah, it's not uncommon to see that. Yeah.
No, I do dig the music. I was sad that I didn't get to hear Judas because I fucking love that song. Love it. But whatever music he was coming out to, which I will look into later, I very enjoyed it. Nice little rock theme. And I love the sand in the eye that he gave him at the beginning of the match. A little nod to what happened at their beach match a few weeks ago. I was like, yeah, that's a nice little touch there, guys. It's always fun when you see a fire extinguisher being used in a match.
Yeah, it's always fun.
Have you ever been shot in the face with a freaking fire extinguisher?
No.
I have. It
That's
happened
cool
one
as fuck.
time in high school. No, it happened in theater arts. We were we were backstage. We were practicing for something we were going to be doing sometime in the near future. And there was a fire extinguisher and one of the guys lifted the nozzle up and it sprayed for no apparent reason. And it hit me right in the face and it tasted terrible for the
Not
record.
just that, but it's CO2. So you probably couldn't breathe for a second.
No, I could not.
Yeah.
It was
no oxygen.
Not the most fun.
Yeah. This match had everything. It had a bat with barbed wire around it. We had thumbtacks. We had not a painting, but a mirror that had barbed wire on it. We had hockey pucks. Yeah. We had hockey pucks with thumbtacks in them. The one part of this match that made me laugh, and being a sports fan, I totally get it, is he puts on a Boston Bruins jersey and boo! People are booing the fuck out of him. And then he puts the little mascot on the ground, pulls out a hockey stick and starts beating the shit. Hartford, the Whale, they only beat them once every 100 years. It made me think of Mallrats almost immediately. So I thought at first glance, I thought it was Kenny because, again, the South Park guys, I believe they're from Canada. They're always talking shit about Canada anyway.
Yeah,
But
I
it
forget
wasn't
which one
Kenny,
of
it was
them.
their mascot. I forget what their little mascot. It's a little bearded dude. The Montreal Canadiens. And fucking Jericho gets it and starts kissing. Like, what the fuck are you doing, bro? Granted, he's from Canada, so of course he's gonna kiss the fucking crowd's ass. But I totally get that. I just thought that was funny that he put on. It's like putting on an Eagles jersey at a AT&T Stadium at a wrestling show. Like, boo! You
Yeah.
boo!
You're gonna catch a lot of shit for that. And,
Yes, a lot of shit, and not good shit, bad shit.
no, not so much. But I love how him doing that gave Painmaker all the opportunity to get the drop on him with a trash can and a hockey stick, for good
Oh my
measure.
god.
So freaking funny. Speaking of the barbed wire table, a Death Valley driver on that son of a bitch.
Ooh, fuck that.
Dude, that makes my back hurt just watching that shit. At one point, I forget what it was. I think it was after Jericho brought out the mirror. You could hear people chanting "sick fuck."
Yeah,
I love that.
they were.
I love how they don't censor that crap.
Well,
at all.
I'm glad you brought that up because
Thank you.
I've noticed, and I'm gonna compare the two big ones here.
Mm-hmm.
You don't hear the "This is awesome" chants anymore like we used to.
Mm.
This one had a couple. It didn't have a lot, but it had enough to make you go, "Shit, we haven't heard that in a while." On the other side, why? Because it hasn't been awesome.
You know where you
is
hear?
a fucking evil tyrant.
Actually, you know where the only time you really hear those chants nowadays, at least for me, when you go overseas. Think about that for a second. Because people over there are very appreciative whenever they get WWE coming to their town, whereas Americans, we've been getting it since the 80s. Some people just
say it's funny you mentioned that because Dara mentioned that before. Like when they go to England, when they go to Ireland, when they they go to Germany or Italy or wherever, they don't get shows all the time over there. It's like once a year, maybe once every 2 years, depending on the situation, and they fucking eat it up. And I'm like, I wish our crowds here in America would be as appreciative, but they're not. They kind of take it for granted.
Yeah, I think so.
So I was like, yeah, whatever.
So they get super loud in foreign countries, and I love it. I love it because it's like, you know what? That's the whole point. The more you see the crowd enjoying it, the more it makes you enjoy it.
100%. Feed off the crowd. 100%.
Couple last things with this match that really took me by surprise. Painmaker has green mist, apparently. I didn't know that. I didn't know that. It came completely out of left field. Like, shit, haven't seen the green mist in a while.
He probably had the tablets in his pocket and just whoop, whoop.
Yeah, really. And then
it was after too. Shades of Great Muda.
Yeah, no kidding.
Yeah.
And then after we put the other one through the mirror that was propped on two chairs, he brings out another one, but it's got barbed wire on it this time. What the hell, man? And at the end of the day, and I can't believe, I don't think I've ever seen this before. Painmaker makes Ciampa tap to getting a drill into his fucking cranium.
Is that what happened? I missed what happened. I thought that was the stipulation, but no, he tapped. I never saw him tap
immediately. Yeah, no, he as soon as he hit him with it, it was like the bell rang. I was like, what the hell? Did he just like tap right away? What the hell happened? Because there was no stipulation about that.
No, there wasn't.
I heard. So
it was a no holds bar match, but you could still quit.
Yeah, pretty much. So he threw in the towel real quick, apparently.
This match was all over the place. This match had just all kinds of carnage. And of course, when Jericho wins, he goes to the commentary table. He gives them a weird look. I'm like, the fuck is that? We're moving on from Tommaso Ciampa at this point. But for me, this is arguably the match of the night, or one of the candidates for match of the night. This next match, I'm not going to lie to you, I walked away for about 5-10 minutes because I had to go to the bathroom and I had to wash my dishes and I wasn't going to pause because I didn't want to be up any later than I did. But I didn't really miss a whole lot. But here we go. The AEW National Championship. Andrade El Idolo versus Mark Davis. Andrade, I feel bad for Andrade. I really do, because he just could not find his feet in WWE both times. Because he left, went to AEW, and then went back to WWE, and then came back,
He went back and forth over the span of, I think, just a couple of years.
Yeah, it wasn't very long.
So, it wasn't.
But I think he's finally found his footing. He's finally found the gimmick he wants to work with, which is great. I'm all about that. but this match was interesting.
I would think so. I had a similar problem because the cats in my room were just going apeshit crazy for a good while, fucking around with my cord. So I wasn't completely watching the match the entire time. But what I got from this is that at some point in the match, we did get a nice little slugfest from both guys. So I appreciate them really taking some good shots at each other. And I noticed that Andrade, he was having a lot of trouble there from what I saw, just really gaining a major advantage over his opponent. So I mean, they're both fairly big guys, but for some reason, I couldn't help but think about the whole, what the hell? Oh, like a David and Goliath type situation
Okay.
going on. It just felt like he couldn't, no matter what he did, he wasn't gaining a major advantage over Mark Davis. But apparently, eventually, he was able to wear him down because we have ourselves a new champion in Andrade, and good for him because this is, without a doubt, this is his first AEW title in his career. So I thought he actually won one. I went in, and I was like, you know what? How many has he won before now? Oh, this is the first time. Damn, dude.
I think even in WWE, he only won the NXT championship, and I believe he won the US. I could be wrong.
You are 100% correct. I checked.
Okay, that's what I thought. So he hasn't had very much success, but again, just trying to find. I've said the same thing about not Ethan Page, but Ricky Saints. He just hasn't found his footing in the company yet. Once he does, he'll be a fucking superstar. And of course, Andrade is living in the shadow of that divorce with Charlotte Flair, where he cheated on her, so he has to deal with that bullshit. So. But yeah, Andrade is our new AEW national champion, and let's see what he can do with it. Fuck it. Why not? I'm all for it.
Because he had to earn the title shot like a week or two ago, right? After the whole beach match and whatnot, or after the altercation they had. So, yeah, that's the way. Okay, cool. Nice job on his part to pull it out.
Moving on, before we're one match away from the main event. We have the AEW Women's World Championship. We have Willow Nightingale versus Thekla, the venomous or the evil spider, I think is what she calls herself. And I don't like spiders, so I don't like her. And the little group of TikTok friends that I have, there's one female in particular. I'm still new to AEW, and I made a comment, Thekla, she looks like a bad egg. And she was like, how dare you say that? I'm like, oh, didn't know you were a fan. That's cool. She's, I get it. You like who you like, and you're going to defend them. I totally get that.
Of course.
So this is one of those matches where I didn't think what happened would happen, but it did. It totally surprised me.
A little bit.
But what do you have on that?
Especially considering where things are going to go, because we already know that Monet is actually going to get her title shot, whoever the champion is, at Wembley Stadium on August 30th. So it's been interesting the last couple of weeks to see how things were going to play out. And I got to say, good for Willow. I wasn't expecting that. So that really paints an interesting picture for their match on August 30th.
And I think she just came back from injury too.
Yeah, she did.
Yeah.
Which, on top of that, Thekla actually targets Willow's stitched up ear. Which I wasn't totally 100% caught up on AEW. I think the last week's worth of shows I kind of missed, so I didn't even know about this.
I think she got attacked and the microphone hit her ear, and she had a Mick Foley moment.
Yeah. Well, owie.
Ow. Yeah, that's a good word. Ow. I'll go with that.
At one point, I thought I liked how Thekla actually took Willow. She put her in a submission hold, and when she was doing it, she was stretching out her mouth, making her smile on purpose, which is some straight up Joker shit as far as
it really is.
Although you could argue that's also a nod to Simpsons Treehouse of Horror when Homer accidentally invents a time machine with a toaster, and then he ends up in this one alternate universe where Ned is like the all-reigning supreme leader of the world, and he forces everyone to smile at one point for reading education is what he calls it. Very similar to that too. So I had to throw that out there.
Wow.
But not a bad match overall, but towards the end we get Sky Blue, who interferes, gets taken out for her trouble, and I tell you what, man, I don't know about you, I thought Willow was going to lose at that point.
I did too.
I was like, okay, you know what? Blue got her just desserts. Now Willow's going to fucking lose the match. This is going to say, she won.
I will say this. If Becky Lynch is my wife, Sky Blue is my side piece. Because the first time I saw Sky Blue, I'm like, who the fuck is that? And they're like, that's Sky Blue. I'm like, okay. And they're like, are you okay? I'm like, I will be.
You will be later.
Yeah, I will be later. But
But
yeah,
you know
I
what?
really thought that Willow wasn't going to win this match, and the look on Thecla's face after the fact, I'm like, yeah, that pretty much sums up how I feel. I didn't think she had a shot in hell to win this match, and she did. Shot the world just like Maya World did. Didn't think she had a shot to win either, and we had 2 women's titles switch hands, including the big one in the same night.
Not only that, but Willow was announced immediately after she won as the first female AEW Grand Slam champion. So hey, good
Really,
for her.
I didn't catch that.
I heard. I think it was what's his name, Excalibur. I heard him say something about that. Or
Well, good for
one of them
her.
said it. And as
Hell
soon as I
yeah,
heard
good
that,
for her.
I was like, yeah, let me write that one down because I'm going to acknowledge that because you know what, not everybody becomes a Grand Slam champion. Who was the first WWF Grand Slam champion?
Shawn Michaels.
Oh, okay, all right. Just making sure.
No, I know that because on one of the TikTok live panels, they had they were doing naming all the Grand Slam champions, and I wasn't on the contest. I was kind of in the comments. I wasn't up in the panel, so I real quick just Googled, Grand Slam champions in WWE, and they've changed the format a little bit to where it's no longer if you had the European or stuff like that. They've updated to the current champions, which is fine. But
makes sense.
Sean has held every one of them: world title, Intercontinental, tag belts, and there's a fourth one. I forget which one that one was. But we're not talking about WWE. But yeah, Willow is the first female Grand Slam champion. Golf clap for her. Moving on to the main event of the evening, the AEW World Championship between the Jet Kevin Knight, who wants to become Kevin Two Belts, and fuck you. By the way, Kevin Knight, how dare you take somebody else's gimmick, especially my future wife's gimmick. How fucking dare you? Versus Kenny Omega. Yeah. Where do we begin with this one?
A lot of fun. Not a bad main event for what it was. Okay, somebody keeps messaging me. Stop it. You're getting in my notes. Stop it. I love how both men are exchanging a lot of slams on the announcer's table. I always find that to be a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Which, for the record, the table gets bombarded a couple of times that I can remember, and I don't remember the damn thing ever breaking. And for my money, I've never been in an actual match. Is it worse if you get thrown on a table and it breaks or doesn't break? Which one is worse? I don't know.
I think if it doesn't, because I mean, that's just me. Most of the time, the tables are already pre-cut just a little bit, so they break easier.
Right.
So it's one of those things where, if you go through it, it's going to hurt because you're going to hit the ground. But if there's nothing stop that to give, it's like, fuck, that hurts. I think it hurts more.
Yeah, I always figured it would hurt more if it doesn't, because instead of expecting that it's like you said, you're going to go down and hit the ground, you just kind of stop with a thud.
Yep, agreed.
I always figured it'd be harder the other way, but no, thank you.
No.
Nice agility from Kenny early on, a lot of fun. But I'll tell you what, nobody likes this Kevin character.
No,
they fucking hate him, apparently.
Fucking heel.
I don't know his backstory, because they seem like they genuinely hated him. And throughout the whole match, he is holding his own against Kenny, doing some really fun and impressive stuff. And people are still chanting, "You still suck," throughout the entire match. Like, man, y'all a bunch of haters. Who are you, the Russians in freaking Rocky IV? What the hell?
No, but think about it, though. People will boo good wrestlers because they're the bad guy. Look at Kurt Angle back in the 2000s, man. He was a great wrestler. You fucking suck, to the point where they would say "you suck" to the rhythm of his fucking theme song.
Thank you, Edge, for that. We appreciate it. He started that shit.
Yeah, he did. Anyway, continue.
Yeah, like I said, there was a couple of drops on the table. There was another one where Omega dropped him on the announcer table. Still doesn't break. And at one point, Kenny was actually getting on Kevin to fight back. He was literally screaming at him to fight back because, I don't know, I guess he was doing such a good job kicking his ass, he wasn't really, holding his own for a minute there. But I got to give Kevin credit, man. No matter how hard Kenny hit him, he just kept coming back. He didn't quit. So he showed a lot of heart throughout the match, as far as I'm concerned. But beautiful finish, for the record, with Kenny hitting him with the knee and then getting the winged angel. I believe that's what they're calling it.
Yeah.
So nice finish, very beautiful finish. Nice match all around. Nice way to finish out the show, as far as I'm concerned.
Oh, but wait, we're not done yet.
No, we're not done.
Kenny Omega's celebrating. He's having a good old time. Here come the Death Riders. They attack him, and he's outnumbered. He can't. There's 4 of them. There's 1 of him. Well, 5 if you count the female too. And again, I don't remember her name. they get it. They get Omega. They get Omega in a situation where they have him like they're gonna just stomp him with a fucking chair around his neck. Will Ospreay comes out of nowhere and is like, "No, don't do it. I know I'm in a bad faction with bad people, but I want to win it on my." This is not what's being said, but this is what I'm interpreting. I want to beat him on my terms. I want him to be healthy. If I can beat him healthy, then I deserve this shot. But if I can't beat him, then it's the typical it's a whole Captain America kind of shit where I don't want to beat. I believe Goku is the same way. I know I'm pulling that out of my ass because I'm not a Dragon Ball guy, but I've heard people say that Goku doesn't want to cheat to win. He wants people that are going to be able to fight him fair on, no cheats, no codes, no nothing, just straight on fight. So Moxley comes in, hands him a fucking plastic bag. Apparently, I guess he wants him to choke him out. Not sure where the plastic bag came from. It might have come from him and what's his fucking wife's name? Moxley's wife. What the fuck is her name?
Isn't he married to Renee?
Renee. Maybe they came from their bedroom. Maybe they're into that kind of shit. So
I'm not even
hands him a plastic bag. Will Spray's got it open. And then he ends up ripping it apart, and then he fucking just knocks the shit out of Moxley. And then here come all the Death Riders, and he takes them all out by himself, throws them all out of the ring. Everything's fine. And then we have the showdown between Omega and Will Ospreay, where Will is holding the title. He goes to hand it to Omega, and Omega's kind of hesitant because he just got his ass whooped by 4 different dudes. So he's kind of like, who the fuck are you? And then I literally looked away. I didn't see what happened. What did Ospreay attack him or put him in some kind of move? I missed that.
No, well, what ended up happening is that Kenny ended up doing a move to Kenny. Kenny ended up doing a move to Will because essentially what I'm getting from what the commentators were saying is that he was ticked off because Ospreay was holding the bag and it took him a good while before he finally decided to rip it up. Like he had to think about it for a while. And I think Kenny took offense. Yeah, I think Kenny took offense to the fact that it's like, dude, you had to think about it. Like, really, you had to think about whether or not you wanted to choke me with a bag. Come on now. So, yeah, I think I understand why he got kind of pissed about that, which is funny because that comes after the show of respect between two men. It's like, okay, I respect you, but you know what?
Fuck you. Fuck you. Took you long enough to figure out it was a bad thing. And again, I have a feeling this isn't going to come into play in that title match between Omega and Ospreay at all.
Oh, yeah.
It's going to come into play some way. Somehow it's going to come into play. I'm thankful that particular PLE will be on European time, which means it'll start at like noon for us. So we can definitely record it and then go to bed after the fact. So that's a month away.
Yeah,
I'm so looking forward to football season, not because of football, but because of the fact that these pay-per-views will be on Saturdays, not Sundays.
Fair enough. But I will be looking forward to the upcoming weeks for this show at Wembley Stadium. I'm really excited. And let me ask you this. When was the last time you heard me say I was excited about a wrestling show? Can't think of anything, can you?
No, I got nothing.
Yeah, I didn't think so.
Yeah,
that's what I am absolutely loving about these last couple of shows that we watched, man. Like, I am having so much fun watching these shows, and you know what? I've missed it for so damn long. It reminds me of the good old days when we used to hang out with all of our wrestling friends and watch the shows at a live event, Molly's and all that shit.
Yeah.
I miss that shit. I miss it.
It's funny because, and this is not AEW related, but WWE's coming to Corpus in September. And I'm like, cool. Let me look up tickets. It's fucking SmackDown. I'm like, oh, damn. And then I'm like, you know what? Let me look up tickets real quick. I saw the section I would have wanted to sit in. And I'm like, nah, I'm good. 400.
How bad is it?
400. Now, granted, I was where they come out, where the ramp is at. I was it was on the left side, right where you could literally reach out and touch them. It was there, like $400. Not quite ringside, but close. And it was $500, and I went, no, I could spend that $500 on something more important, like shampoo or something else,
and
got myself out of it. But I'm going to apply for a press pass for the show. See if I can get it for free.
Yeah, hey, go for it.
Yep.
Yeah, go for that, man. If you can get it.
So with the show, with the review of the show being over, I do want to. We really haven't said anything, but I'll ask it now. What is the match of the night?
I still want to say go back with what I said originally with Banditos match, but you know what? You weren't wrong. There was at least one or two other matches on the card that all were equally contenders for that moniker. So it wasn't an easy choice, but I'm still going to go with the Bandito match. That's the one that really made me the most happy and impressed me the most and just made my jaw drop the most.
That's fair.
I think I had the most fun watching that.
And
But there
again,
was plenty of carnage.
For me, again, it's Jericho and Ciampa. I mean, Jericho is like 100 years old, but yet he's still out there like he's in his 20s and not missing a beat. I was thoroughly impressed with this match. And the fact that there was a lot of blood, mainly from Ciampa,
Oh my God.
There was a couple of tacks that were stuck in his fucking head.
Yeah, at one point it was like, there's a tack right around his head. I'm like, dude, pull the damn thing out. I can't stand looking at it. Pull it out.
It was bugging the fuck out of me too.
Shit.
Now, with that being said, normally we would do we used to do letter grades on the show when reviewing shows.
But not anymore.
Decided not to do that. We're gonna go with what we do on the Real Movie Critics. We're gonna do just flat across the board championship belts. 1 out of 5, the Jazz Zodiac championship belts. That will be below, right between us, and our grade will be on either side of us. So that being said, what is your grade for AEW Redemption?
See, and here's my problem. I feel like because in my own mind, I was kind of taken out of a couple of matches after 4 awesome matches in a row, and then kind of feeling like I needed a quick break to kind of regather myself and not fully invested on the match immediately following. And only one other match where that kind of also happened, where my mind was trailing off, as it does sometimes when I'm watching a show.
Yeah.
I feel like don't take too hard on what I rate this show. It was a great show. That's 2 in a row. Awesome show, great matches, a lot of great action going on, good storytelling, great wrestling. Had nothing but fun watching it. But because of that, I would give it probably a 4.5, but that's more my fault than it is the show's fault. I would love to go back and rewatch a couple of these matches down the road and just kind of see them in their entirety where I'm fully invested in what's going on. Again, it had nothing to do with the match. It was all me. It's all me. Just for
it's funny you say that because I also gave the show a 4.5. Now, granted, for me, my things are, again, I could have done without the tag team double chain match, but again, I don't know enough about what's going on with those 2 tag teams, but I'm grading on what I'm seeing, not on what I should see. I do feel like the show, some of the matches are a little long. They could have been a little bit shorter. That's just a nitpick that I have. That's not a nitpick for. They could have been a little bit shorter, maybe less near fall, stuff like that. Other than that, there's not a match in this card that I think was a shitty match. They were all great. They all had their own stories, and this was a total of 10 matches. 10 fucking matches we watched in 5.5 hours.
Yeah, and it was 12 last month. So
it was more last time. So that being said, like I said, I give it a 4.5 as well, which has an overall grade of, let's see, +2, carry the 5, divided by 3, move the 0, 4.5. We both gave it a 4.5. So the grade does not change. So overall, 4.5. Again, great fucking show. Definitely worth the lack of sleep that I'm going to get tonight. I've already taken I literally took my melatonin right before we hit record. I feel it kicking in, which is fine. That's what I want. I want to hit the bed and done.
It takes a while to kick in. Yeah.
It takes a minute for it to kick in, especially when you're really tired. But I also take it with my other medications because I'm officially an old man because I have one of.
Oh, he's got the thing. He's got the container. Oh,
but here's the thing, though. I take the old man, not old man, but like the old over 50 vitamin. I take my allergy medication. I take a hair, nail, and skin, like a prenatal, but it's for dudes. And then my melatonin. I take it half an hour before I go to bed every night. So
has some trouble sleeping there, huh, bro?
No, it keeps me from waking up in the middle of the night. I can go to sleep. It's just the waking up part. And the only time I ever really wake up is when I got to take a fucking massive fucking piss. I'm like, fuck, I got to get up, go take a piss. And then I'm right back to sleep.
Don't we just love getting old where we never had to do that as kids, and now all of a sudden
I did that even as a kid. I had to get every night. Piss. So, all right. Well, that will conclude our review of AEW Redemption. Again, another great show in the books. That being said, Psycho Nerd, promote your shit.
Well, let's see. Just recently, within the last couple of days, the Psycho Nerd, me, finally decided to come back home to the Repeat Movie Viewers channel and do a podcast, the first video podcast that's ever been done on the channel with my buddy Dennis. We had a lot of fun. talking about summer flicks that we did or didn't like and what is still coming out for the duration of the summer. Summer's almost over at this point. And then we also talk about American Pie. That was also a summer flick once upon a time. On top of that, I also did my reaction to the Avengers Doomsday trailer. Feel free to check that out. And I'm currently working on my new Pete's House episode. So we're getting closer and closer to Fantastic Fest, people. So anyone who isn't subscribed, or is subscribed, I should say, expect you're going to see a lot more talking about Fantastic Fest going forward.
And when is Fantastic Fest again?
That is middle of September. The first day of the festival is September 17th, which I am still kind of bummed that Transformers, the movie, the animated movie from our childhood, is actually going to be hitting theaters on the exact same time frame that this festival is going on.
That's funny.
If that takes away my ability to watch that movie in the theater, I'm going to be a little ticked, but I'm actually a little hopeful that maybe they will actually have it at the festival. It is not uncommon for 4K movies that are getting a release to show up at the festival. It's happened the last couple of years. So we will see.
And of course, I want to promote a couple of other things before I promote mine. Of course, we just did the Repeat Movie Viewer. I also do the Wrestling Rewind podcast with my buddy Daryl Connor. We record that every Friday. We didn't do an episode this last Friday. He is traveling, so we took the week off. We should be recording this weekend. And Daryl will be on our show next weekend for SummerSlam, because that's next weekend. So make sure you like, subscribe, and follow the Wrestling Rewind podcast. And my buddy Minx Monroe has a interview show she calls Shooting the Breeze with Minx Monroe. She talks to AEW, TNA, New Japan, and independent wrestlers. Just 10, 15-minute interviews. She asked them some pretty awesome questions. I've actually watched a couple of episodes. It's a fairly new show that she does, but give her a follow as well. The links to both the Wrestling Rewind and Shooting the Breeze with Minx Monroe will be down in the description below. Make sure you give them some love, like, subscribe, and follow their show. As for us here at the Zodiac Podcast, under the banner of Real Zodiac Productions, we have that YouTube page that has both this podcast as well as the Real Movie Critics. We dropped that episode the 26th of July for our review of Aliens. Make sure you check that out. And this episode, obviously, if you're listening to it now, you already know it's dropped, but it should drop on Monday later in the evening. Going forward on these Jazz Zodiac podcast, next weekend will be the 2-day event of SummerSlam 1 and 2. We will do both nights picks as well as our reactions to each night, and then we'll give our own grade as well. So for the Psycho Nerd, I am the Jazz Zodiac. This has been the Jazz Zodiac podcast, and that is the final bell for this episode. We broke down the matches, we called out the surprises, and probably cut a few promos of our own along the way. Whether you agree with our takes or think we just turned heel, please let us know in the comments what you thought of AEW Redemption or what you thought of our takes of the show. And again, don't forget to like, subscribe, follow, and share the podcast with your fellow members of the IWC. For those that do not know, that's the Internet Wrestling Community. Until next time, keep your shoulders off the mat, your finishers protected. And remember, kids, on this podcast, the conversation never taps out. We'll catch you on the next episode. Good night, everybody.
Lights go down, the tension's rising high.